Hi! Sorry about the background fan noise. It's 112 degrees in East LA right now. So, welcome weirdos to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I like being by myself and why you should be by yourself too. And no, this is not an ad for oh, I shouldn't have said that. Ah! Demonetized! This video seems quite trendy. Social distancing, wearing a mask, staying 2 carts apart, as they say in the grocery stores. Oh, but no contraire. I have entire life experience in this due to being a freaking weirdo from day one, and I had to learn really quickly in life how to entertain myself and survive in the real world all by my freaking self. So, I'm gonna tell you what I've learned by being by myself most of my life. Don't feel sorry for me. I like being by myself. This is a choice and it's also a superpower, which is going to be the last thing I talk about in this video, so stay tuned. So what have I learned throughout my life of being a lone wolf? Number 1, I don't get lonely. I'm an introvert. I like being alone. I thrive being alone. When I was younger, maybe like high school times, I used to misconstrue some inner emotional feelings with loneliness. And it actually wasn't loneliness. I was either bored or anxious or just feeling generally unsettled with myself. And this is freaking number 1, so I don't want to go super deep and heavy on this one. But it honestly took some soul searching and lots of years of getting to know myself in order to be able to sit in a room alone and not have a freaking anxiety attack and hate myself. Just being honest, okay? So it took me a long time to get to this place where I can really be and coexist with myself in harmony. I don't know about you, but there's a lot going on up here. It can get a little cray-cray. So some of this comes with maturity, but just realizing I was putting the wrong word to what I was actually feeling and that I didn't need something outside of myself in order to fix that feeling. That's when it was like everything started clicking and I was seeking alone time. I was excited to be by myself. I'm not saying that loneliness doesn't exist. I'm not saying that that feeling isn't valid. I definitely have times where I'm like, yo, I could go for seeing another human being right now. For me, learning how to deal with these emotions in a way that's not reliant on another person has helped me so much. That was just freaking number 1. I'm sorry, guys. 2, I thrive on the anti-schedule. Okay. First of all, I'm ADHD. I'm kind of all over the place. There are some people with ADHD who thrive on a schedule and other people who just absolutely crumble, which is why we're always late and forgetting things. Time and me just don't mix. So what I do, this is a little bit of my night routine, guys. Comment below if you want a morning routine. But basically, right before I go to sleep, I write a list of everything that I want to do the next day. It's usually a little overambitious. Sometimes those things I'm having to carry over to the next. But by the time I wake up, I usually don't even have to look at that list because it was the last thing I thought about. I dreamed, I was in my subconscious la la land, and I wake up and I kind of already know what's on that list and what I need to do. I can still refer back to it or change the list when I need to, but having the flexibility to take my time in things and not have to do things at a certain time has really, really helped me. Because of quarantine, I've actually been able to do this more. I've been practicing this for years, but life happens and it's like I've got a meeting at 2 to stream at this time or like whatever is going on in my life. Like before quarantine, there were things where I had to be there at a certain time and it would kind of ruin my entire day because I had to put so much energy into getting ready for that time that it took a lot of energy away from me just like flowing through the things that I needed and wanted to do that day at my own pace. So if any of y'all are working from home or wanting to build your own business, I would definitely recommend trying this. Don't feel that you need to put the pressure of a schedule on yourself because honestly, Not being on one has totally freed my mind up and I actually get more done. Okay, continuing on. This is gonna be so freaking long, I can already freaking tell. Number 4, is it number 4? No, obviously can't read a list, can't take my own advice. Number 3, I can get overwhelmed. Yes, even though I love being alone, I think we can all become kind of like a lot for ourselves when the only narrative to our existence for long periods of time is our own inner monologue. Girl, I feel you. This is why the list thing works for me. Getting it out of my head is the most important thing. So in order to have success and happiness, being alone, getting the jumbled up-ish out of your head. So whether that's journaling or making a list, I also call my mom like way too often. It's not even about the feedback as much as it is hearing what's been in my head out in the world. You can be ruminating over something for hours or days or weeks and it seems like the most complicated, emotionally draining, crazy whole universe of its own. And then you go and try to explain it to a friend and you're like, oh yeah, that was pretty freaking stupid. Or like, that was really simple. Why did that seem so crazy in my head? I actually just wrote a song called In My Head. Either that or Makes Sense. I'm not sure on the title yet. That's exactly what that song is about. It's like, when it's in my head, it makes 0 sense. But then the second you start putting it into words, it becomes clear. So when you're alone and you start to get that overwhelmed, about to explode feeling, you probably just need to get what's in your head out. So like I said, a list, journaling, calling a friend or family member. Also, this seems really weird, but I'm mother of the weirdo crew, so I'm just sticking to the brand, y'all. Sometimes if I'm really hurting, I don't really want to call someone and I feel like I can't write it down as fast as I'm thinking, I will open up my phone and either talk to the camera or open up the voice memos and just let it rip. And I tend to talk more uncensored when I'm talking to my phone because I know it's not to someone. Like I can go as deep and on as many tangents as I want and no one's going to judge me or misunderstand. And if you can get past the kind of weird, odd feeling of like recording yourself talking to yourself about your most intimate thoughts, it's really cool and powerful when you think about it because you are becoming your own best friend. You are becoming a moderator and an outside objective perspective to yourself. Like, it's just so crazy that just getting it out and putting it into the world physically, into words, it changes your own perspective of your perspective. For me, I even find it interesting, if you want to take it an extra step, to listen back to it. And I swear to God, I don't know if I'm just so ADHD, I blank out and don't remember 5 seconds ago, but when I listen back to it, it sounds like a different person. Not audibly, but like, I don't know who was thinking those thoughts. It doesn't sound like what was in my head or what was being spoken. It sounds like someone else's freaking story that I'm hearing for the first time. It can really help step back a little from the crazy chaos. It's usually more simple than that, and this has just really helped me. So yeah, this is a lot deeper of a video than I thought it was going to be. And that leads me to number 4 of what I've learned by myself. I love learning. If a day goes by and I don't know something I didn't know yesterday, I will probably explode or just like die in a corner somewhere. Tony Robbins actually talks about this a lot. One of our main, most fundamental needs as humans is to feel like we're evolving, to feel like we're growing and we're progressing in a direction that is good for us. And I definitely have that feeling every single day so freaking much. Like I always have to be leveling up and getting better, otherwise I just get depressed and feel epically terrible. And this is something that I have just flourished with by being by myself more. I watch so many YouTube videos, I read so many articles, and Yes, at the beginning of this quarantine, it was mostly about and then about just being informed with the news and everything going on, because it was literally happening down the street from me. So literally every moment I'm not doing something, I want to be learning. So when I sit down to eat, when I'm vacuuming, when I take a walk, I always have a podcast or a YouTube video on. I just love learning from other people. And I know that seems maybe a little contradicting to like being by myself because I'm listening to other people, but that's something that you can do by yourself is educate yourself and ways to better yourself. I just released a music video for my song called By Myself, and it's the first song and music video that I completed from start to finish completely by myself. Ironically, it just says what it is. When I was going through the filming and editing process for everything, I would constantly be YouTubing how to do this in Premiere and how to shoot 4K whatever on this camera. I mean, we're in the information age. There's so much information online that can help you execute things that you thought you needed a team for, that you thought you needed other people for, that you thought you needed a therapist for. Like, sure, all those things are great, but it's like when you're either forced or want to do something on your own, we're in a time where you probably can learn how. It's been really exciting for me to see myself kind of become an amateur expert at things that in the past would have thought, I need to hire someone for this. Information is everything, y'all. I'm just saying. And number 5, I learned that being by myself is a superpower. Let me explain. I realized that there was a potential inside of me that wasn't unlocked until I really dove into building my business and honing in my craft. Ow, I just bit my tongue by myself. Ow! Because there really is something special about being alone. And I am the kind of person, I'm a very empathic person. I'm an empath, whatever. I feel things very deeply and I'm like a sponge. I had this one friend when I was a little girl that had a really thick southern accent, and I'd go home and be talking like this and mom, oh, I have fun. This has been one of my biggest weaknesses through my life, is kind of losing my sense of self and my energy kind of being swallowed by everything else going around. Like, I forget who I am. I know that sounds really bad, and I think it's a little bit of an ADHD thing, but I just really feel what's around me a lot and I can be affected by it. There's something about this time in quarantine that has really deepened my understanding of what I'm capable of. And it wasn't until I was forced to do everything myself that I realized I could do just about everything by myself. When I'm alone, I feel free to be more childlike and in my pure, true energy because it's safe. And I know this maybe sounds like a little sad or like I have issues, and maybe I freaking do. I just really think there is something sacred and beautiful about alone time. I don't want to get all motivational speaker-y on you, but whatever it takes to become comfortable and to be able to manage the harder parts of being by yourself is so worth it in order to gain and unlock this deep potential. So this is my challenge to you on this one, because you got the superpowers too, okay? Next time you want or desire anything, whether it's an outcome or a physical thing or just your life to change in a certain way, try going to yourself for answers. Try going to yourself and saying, okay, how can I move this forward? What's the first step that I can do? Because I think we hold most of our own answers, but tend to feel unsure about it until there's a validation from outside ourselves. I promise you, if you're waiting for someone to help you or you're waiting for the right time, it's never gonna happen. Like, I hate to say that, but it's just kind of true. The right time is when you decide. And when you decide to move it forward and make it happen, it freaking will. And you will have what you want. With the song and music video by myself that I just put out, like, I had to push through so many times. Like, there were times where I was like, I'm either just not gonna have a video for this song or it's just gonna suck. there didn't seem to be a way around that because it was just so ghetto, you know? But like, hey, I did it, I pulled through, and even though it's not perfect, I don't really care. I'm more proud that it's done. There are things that I had to execute in order to get that video done that I had no clue about until I like YouTubed it or researched it or like bought certain gear to get it done. Like, it's just so cool to see myself persevere, because now the next challenge that I face, even if I have no earthly idea on how to do something, I trust that I'll be able to figure it out because I'm working that muscle and getting strong as hell on doing things by myself. Yes. So anyways, I know there was a lot of information in here and I think this got a lot deeper than I intended it to, but after releasing my song, I just really wanted to bring the message home that we are powerful as one. We may be one, but we are infinitely one, and I believe in all of you and anything that you're going through right now. I feel you so hard. Like, I've been dealing with a lot of things lately, more than normal actually. Lots of mental health stuff and physical things that have been really debilitating and hard to push through. We're not perfect and we're all human. We all have our things that we have to push through, but that's the key, is pushing through them. Anyways, I hope you got something out of this video and you accept the challenge. If you want me to talk to my camera awkwardly in my bedroom more, give this video a thumbs up and I will try to force myself to. Also be sure to subscribe to the Weirdo Crew. Yeah, we're almost to 10K, y'all. I have a 10K subscriber special on the way, so press that subscribe button so that I can get that video uploaded. And let me know in the comments, do you like being alone? Is it your safe place? Do you get more done? Or do you hate being alone and you actually thrive off of other people's energy? Let me know below. I'm actually super interested. I bit my tongue so hard, like I can't even talk anymore. Anyways, see you next time. Peace.